It's an honor to introduce our distinguished guest in tonight's ceremony. Dulcidio de la Guardia graduated from Florida State University with a degree in business administration in 1984. Subsequently, he completed a master's degree in business administration at Loyola University in 1986. He became a chartered financial analyst by the CFA Institute from Charlottesville, Virginia in December of 2000. Mr. de la Guardia has had a very prominent career both in the private and in the public sector. He joined the Panama Stock Exchange in 1990 as developing manager. In 1999, he joined Banco Continental de Panama as vice president of private banking and investment. In 2002, he moves to Banismo as vice president of investment banking, becoming executive vice president in 2005. In 2008, he joined MMG Bank as director of wealth management. He was the vice minister of finance of the Republic of Panama from 2009 to 2011, and minister of economy and finance from 2014 until June this year. He has been a member of the board of several prominent Panamanian corporations, and he is currently the chief operating officer at Morgan & Morgan Group in Panama. Last year, Mr. de la Guardia was one of only 3 distinguished alumni to receive the Florida State University Alumni Association Grads Made Good Award. It's an honor to have Mr. de la Guardia with us.
President Pitt, Rector Langoni, members of the board of FSU Panama, administration and faculty, families and friends, distinguished guests, and most importantly, the FSU class of 2018. I'm thrilled to be here, and it is a great honor to be addressing all of you today. FSU class of 2018. Today, we celebrate and cherish your accomplishments of the last 4 years. It is a day that you will treasure in the coming years. Please take the time to look around FSU class of 2018. Please look around. Take a lot of pictures so you can recollect the faces and names of your teachers and fellow students. You may not see some of them again. They all have made a difference in your life. I'm telling you this because it happened to me. I was so thrilled during my graduation that I forgot to take pictures of this day with my teachers and some of my fellow students. Like you, I'm a proud alumnus of FSU Panama. And I want to use this opportunity to honor some of the faculty of FSU Panama of 1984. Professor Armando Núñez, Professor Miguel Ángel Martín, Dr. Jorge Luis Quiroz, Dr. Victor Carter, and Dr. Richard Koster. They encouraged me to think out of the box and to cultivate a critical and incisive thought process that remains with me today. They gave me the tools and values that helped me become the man, husband, father that I am today. For them, I will always be grateful. We are gathering here to reveal your commencement ceremony, but what we are really celebrating is the beginning of your professional career. These last 4 years at FSU gave you the tools to learn and the ability to seek the knowledge that you will need to be successful. Because life is a never-ending learning experience. But life is also about change. The only thing that you can be certain is that everything will change. Therefore, I encourage you to never stop learning and seek new skills. You will need them in the coming years. Your generation will be exposed to a much faster rate of change and technological innovation than my generation. This rapid pace of change will put a heavy burden on all of you. Some professions will be replaced by technology and innovation. Amazon is introducing cashierless retail stores in the US. In the next decade, thousands of cashiers will be out of a job. Self-driving vehicles will replace thousands of people employed as drivers in the transportation industry. Imaging applications are doing a much faster and as accurate job at interpreting X-rays and CAT scans as radiologists. These are more of the obvious examples of jobs that will change in the coming years. But there are more. I recommend that you all read a book called The Rise of the Robots by Martin Ford. It may give you some hints on how some jobs and professions will evolve in the future. The only thing that we can be certain is that everything changes, and change is accelerating at an exponential rate. Back in the 1980s, when I first joined FSU, I took a class called Computer System 101. At that time, we have the latest computer technology, a big IBM mainframe that could be programmed in RPG, COBOL, Fortran, and BASIC. We used to program simple mathematical algorithms in perforated cards or punch cards like these ones. The process was complex and took forever. Believe me, it took forever. Today, a smartphone has more computing power and is much easier and intuitive to use than FSU's mainframe back in the 1980s. Back in the 80s, there was a premier multinational company called Kodak that produced film for cameras. Kodak had a dominance in the production and distribution of film. Everybody purchased Kodak products and film. It was a blue chip company, member of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, FSU class of 2018. How many of you remember Kodak today? Raise your hands. All of you, okay. They are still around, actually, yeah. But Kodak is a shadow of what it used to be. They failed to recognize the threat to their business model posed by the development of digital cameras. Instead, the CEO of the company blamed their film competitor, Fuji, and focused all their energy on lobbying the US government and Congress to impose trade restrictions on Fuji. Sounds familiar? There was nothing the government could have done to prevent the eventual downfall of both Kodak and Fuji. Bluntly, we, the consumers, chose digital cameras instead of film cameras for all the convenience, quality, and cost savings digital offers. Critical analysis missed by the film manufacturers. Companies that do not change their business model will go out of business. It is happening in Panama to the retail industry. A few weeks ago, there was a report in La Prensa in relation to the growth of the e-commerce logistics sector in Panama. According to that report, more than 150,000 packages enters our country daily and is growing double digits. This avalanche of e-commerce packages is eating away the sales of the local retailers. Still, some members of the retail industry blame the government for their reduced sales. As in the Kodak case, the consumers are choosing e-commerce over traditional retailers. And there is nothing the government can do to change that. Instead, retailers should focus their energy and efforts on innovation and reinventing their business model and embrace the preference of the consumers. I know that we are all comfortable with the status quo. We trust what we know and we fear the unknown. Don't be afraid to take risks. Being alive is about taking risks, and you take risks every day. To keep up with the change in the economy and in the labor market, due to the introduction of disruptive technologies, you will need to take educated risks, be flexible, learn new skills, and possibly a new profession. You will need the imagination, the ingenuity, and even the audacity to reinvent yourself. Settle for nothing less than excellence and always believe in yourself. Even in the most difficult and darkest times, always have confidence in yourself. Back in early 2016, when I was Minister of Economy and Finance, we were on a roll, executing our government plan with confidence and success. We took Panama in record time out of the Gafi gray list, reduced the budget deficit in 1 year by 33%, and increased tax collection by 10% without a tax reform. There was nothing that could stop us. Then the unexpected happened. In April 2016, the Panama Papers, do you recall that? And 5 weeks after that, the inclusion of the WACC in the OFAC list. We were taken by surprise. We scrambled to come up with a plan to mitigate the impact of these two events that could damage the economy and the reputation of Panama. I was overwhelmed, overworked, doubted myself many times. I recall the advice that was given to me by the former Minister of Finance, Economy and Finance, and a good friend, Fernando Aramburu Porras. He said to me, "Everything in life is temporary. Just keep working hard, execute your plan, and have confidence in yourself. Things will get better." He was right. We were able to mitigate the impact, the economic impact of both events, and we were marginally successful in containing the reputational damage to our country. Despite all the noise that you have heard, see, and read in the media, I'm certain that the future of Panama is bright. Before I tell you why, let me briefly summarize some of our accomplishments in the last decade. Panama is the fastest growing economy in Latin America. It has grown at an average of 6.5% per year. Panama is ranked #1 by the World Economic Forum Competitiveness Report of 2018 with the lowest inflation rate in the world. Today, according to the World Bank, Panama is the richest country in GDP per capita in PPP terms in Latin America. Poverty has decreased from 33.8% to 20% of the population in the last decade. This means that over 400,000 Panamanians are no longer poor. Therefore, we must be doing something right. However, all this good news does not mean that everything is fine. Like all countries in the world, Panama still faces many challenges. Let me summarize a few of the most important challenges that we need to address in the coming years. First, we need to radically change and improve our public education system. If we want to fully leverage our competitive advantages, we must have a world-class labor force. Second, we must redefine and strengthen our institutions. We must pay attention to our justice system and National Assembly. This requires a new constitution, that changes the judicial system, defines a new process for the selection of Supreme Court judges, and determines how assemblymen and women are elected and discharge their duties. Finally, we must continue to reinforce our competitive advantages by investing in key infrastructure that improves and supports our competitiveness and the quality of life of our people. Notwithstanding all these challenges that we face, I am confident that the future of Panama is bright, because we are one of the few countries in the world that knows its competitive advantages. And there is a consensus built over time among Panamanians on this issue. This is to use and leverage the unique geographical position of our country to serve world trade and investment flows. In other words, to become a hub for trade and investment in the Americas. Panama needs to change to take full advantages of the opportunities provided by its unique geographical position. But it is up to us to promote change in our country. If we do it right, all of you will have plenty of opportunities to grow and prosper here in Panama. So I challenge you to help transform our country. I challenge all of you to get involved in making our country better. I challenge you to believe in yourself and each other to create a better future. One last piece of advice. In the next few years, you are going to be very busy. Take care of yourself. Go outside. Do exercise and eat well. Take time to live your life. Have fun. Travel and visit new countries and cultures in the wonderful world we live in. There are magical places to visit. Don't forget to visit Panama's island, beaches, mountains, and countryside. And please, do not forget your friends. Most importantly, love someone, because we are briefly passing through this world. The journey is more thrilling, fulfilling, and enjoyable when we are in the company of someone we love. As a proud father of 3 wonderful young adults, I ask you always to stay in touch with your parents and family. They are very proud of you and your accomplishments. Take the time to tell your mom and dad about your dreams and apprehensions. They will listen and help you put things into the right perspective. But most importantly, they will always be there for you. FSU class of 2018, I challenge you to always believe in yourself. Seek your dreams. Take educated risks and be bold. Because if you do, I'm confident that FSU and Panama will be proud of your future achievements and the men and women that you will become. Congratulations, Florida State class of 2018. After all your years of hard work and sacrifice, you finally made it. Well done, and may God bless all of you. Thank you.